Today is Tuesday, 28th May 2019. Welcome to another edition of the Star Television Network, Channel 21 Good Morning Show, live here from our Media One Center studios at 3 Mama Street, Bookfeast, Freetown. I am your presenter, Mohamed Basiru Sanusi. And top stories in the program this morning. The management of Vital Statistics Sierra Leone has on Friday, 24th May 2019, confirmed the dismissal of 244 staff from Statistics Sierra Leone, ranging from directors to clerical staff, and has called on all to reapply again. Smallholder compliance legislation and agribusiness development projects through the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry and Food Security has held an engagement session with members of Parliament for the rehabilitation of 142 kilometers of feeder roads in 6 districts, and the first phase will be held very soon. They make a discussion to our reporters we shall play later. And also on sport, a High Court in Freetown has acquitted and discharged the President and the Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Football Association, Madam Aisha Juwansi and Christopher Kamara, on the 3 count charges on corruption. Also, that will be part of the program this morning. And I've been joined in the studios by Molai Conte, and he's the Director for Youth Coalition and also a civil rights activist. We'll be talking to us on the outcome of the Bintu Mane 3. What does it hold for the youth of this country? Molai, good morning. Nice having you on the Star TV Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
And how does it feel like advocating for young people all the time?
Well, it's a challenge, and I think we have been doing it for decades now, I would say, and we have the passion to do it, and we'll continue to do it. It is not an easy task, but it's about how we dedicate ourselves to do it.
Consider the fact that young people make the bulk of the country's population.
Indeed, indeed.
You're still with the Good Morning Show live here on the Star TV on Channel 21. Continue to stay with us, and mind you, the Good Morning Show is proudly sponsored by Rokiel Commercial Bank.
Give me money.
Want money?
Give me
Okay, I'm
money.
not open up. What am I going
Can't give me money. What's kind of bad sleep this? What's enough for putting money again? You don't have to can't take her. Why you for the shaft me bad self?
Auntie Jojo.
Mama, how you doing?
I'll tell you, thank you. I don't come on a bank. What you make you face this one?
That's all that man. Hey, Gappy can't take me money, don't go. But why don't tell her say they can't give me money if it's not you?
Hey, Auntie Jo. All the way me can at this society needs. If man take your money loss. You know don't hear about financial inclusion. Where Rokel Commercial Bank they make everybody, no matter how you turn, no matter the kind of business where they do.
Financial waiting.
Inclusion.
Darling, for all man.
Any item, you not cripple in the bank. You not cripple for bank. Because not for the today, for we tomorrow one. And now they don't make it easy for we. They don't open in different way. Then we go make you back not go feel bad about your banking system at all. Then get keke account.
You look one confused me small. Then keke right there. Wait, say that they open accounts for them. Wait. Where they want to ride bike? Them totes man, they don't more like driver they all.
Yes.
They only open accounts for them.
Yes. Sometimes you want buy keke, you go and ride for potty forever. You dey go put that small thing. Come up a keke account. They get the other account so they call Comra account. Therefore we then Comra them.
For we?
Yes. We then Comra them. So tell you picky don't put on school. That nurse give they help we let my people go. When reach now for go college, you not get money. Yeah. But that account will be the open for I can just go and take you pay school fee.
When they talk about this Comra business, the Comra account where they go open. Well, you ain't no born now.
You dey still open accounts. Comra accounts, then give back that mandate where you open them. Where you born to man, the pikin they can run back through the accounts there. So they don't make as you and now they don't open branch now bonds. Imagine how far they go now. Therefore make things easy for me and you too.
Hey, better way can tell me, oh, hey, Sergeant Tenki, that me sister, the way in picking they thief him money, the way they destroy that one day, and they go mad, they go tell her.
Rokel Commercial Bank, I made them make it easy. They say tell you paddy, may go tell him
And
paddy.
they go tell her.
What I tell you, so go you explain
And they go tell her.
Life dey easy.
Join Rokel Commercial Bank, bank with Rokel Commercial Bank, #1, bank with Rokel.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Good Morning Show live here on Star TV on Channel 21 and online on www.startv.com, also on Facebook and YouTube, Star TV Live. We'll go in for our first story. The management of Vital Statistics Sierra Leone as on Friday, 24th May 2019, confirmed the dismissal of 244 staff at Statistics Sierra Leone, ranging from directors to clerical staff, and has called on all to reapply if they met the required criteria. This statement was made by the Council Chairman Moses Williams and also the General Professor Usman Sanko during a press conference held at the Vital Statistics Office at Tawahiri. Here's the full details.
We need to improve the corporate image of StatSL. Did you come here 4 months ago? What did you see? I'm sure some of you must have been surprised to see what you're seeing today. That it's an institution, the buildings have been painted, and you can sit. That is important as well. If we are the National Institution of Statistics, and you enter our gate and you see a rickety, dilapidated building, you will not trust what we say is national official statistics. You cannot. So it's just important for us to do what we are doing. So we are trying to regain StatSL's credibility, ladies and gentlemen, and the relentless efforts when it comes to stringent internal and financial management controls, they are in place. They are in place. So we've been doing a review. I've been looking at staff capacities, and so where they are, etc. And we currently, before recently, we've had a total number of 321. Some resign, I think we have like 10 or so, so we have like 318 or 19. For this institution, 244. Okay, 244. And as we said, there's going to be adverts almost immediately. They've been drafted, approved by council. This one will also be hitting the social media. So if someone says that he or she came from the north and he or she has been asked to step down, say, but I saw the advert, can you apply? Apply tomorrow, because it's going to be there. Okay.
We are here not to victimize anybody, but to ensure that we have the right people to do this work for this government. Otherwise, the plans for government and our development partners are going to, they won't be on the right path. Because if you don't give the right data for government to plan, the plans will be flawed, and that will have an effect on the growth of this country. So our decisions to try and look into the staff matters and see what best to do is really not to push people aside, but to ensure that we have the right people who will have the right qualifications, who will come in here using the right process, and who will do the work for government. Not for me, not necessarily for Malam as he sits here, but for the entire nation. Vacancies have to be declared here. They have to be advertised. Applications have to be written. Shortlisting has to be done. People have to be invited for interview. Interviews have to be conducted. And appointments have to be made. That's the process I know for any institution that wants to go the right way. The people involved did not go through that process. They did not. We have evidence of that. And in any of their letters, ask them, let them show you. The reasons are plainly written there. There are a very few of them who are now writing appeal letters to me that in fact they have gone through the right processes. Fine. Provide the evidence for us. We are reviewing that. You see, and let me say one thing. Some of these people actually have the entry requirement to work here. They do. They do. They have the degrees in mathematics or statistics or economics. Those are the areas we employ people to work here. But they did not come here using the right process. Even for those that have only WAS that came here using that same process, we blocked all of them together, no selective justice, and they are all gone. But we are advertising for vacant positions. The adverts are going to, in fact, they'll start going around tonight. Monday they should be full blown. let them apply. When they do apply, then we can take them back. That time they would have come using the right channel, not through the back door.
Still with the Good Morning Show live on Star TV on Channel 21, and I still have with us in the studios Molai Conte from Youth Coalition, who will serve as also a civil rights activist. Molai, let's start the discussion really. Yeah, at times people will tell you the young people are the future leaders, that's in the past, but now they will tell you we are partners in development, and for Sierra Leone, we made the bulk of the country's population. And amidst all that, there's high rates of youth unemployment to over 65% that we need to curb down. But to the Bintu Monetary, what the representation of our youth? Were you satisfied? Your honest opinion about it?
I think my honest opinion on behalf of young people of this country is that the representation of young people in that conference was totally abysmal. Young people were not represented, in fact. And I think even my own organization was marginalized. Several other organizations, like Citizen Advocacy Network, you have For Sale by Babadi, and many other organizations, Democracy Sierra Leone, they were not invited, you know. And I think for reasons best known to the organizers, the young people were instead misused again. We saw young people being given, you know, party dress to display their attendance. And I think that's not what we're anticipating. We're expecting young people to be as part and parcel, you know, of the process. That particular program should have been, you know, dominated by young people. Because when you talk about conflict, you talk about issues bordering on good governance, the young people are always at the core, at the fore of it. And you find that they have the zest, they have the zeal, you know, to take part in conflict. The older people will be there maybe to use them, but the main people that you see at the fore of conflicts, they are the young people. Yes, we agree that women and children will suffer when conflict arises, but the perpetrators, as well as the victims, they are most times young people. And so we were expecting much representation. But again, to be very candid, I think the organizers had their own motive. And that's why when you look at the Bintu Monetary, there are several questions being asked. Whether it was necessary, whether it was a waste of resources, whether in fact it was just a clear display of insincerity on the part of our leaders. What we saw there was a charade. I think we did not see what we were expecting.
Molai, prior to those such sensible meetings or conference, you have to have consultations where most of the young people consulted, or it just happened at a point that we are going to Bintu Monetary. The consultants will tell you we have done our consultations nationwide, but it does not reflect even to the awareness. Most people just come across the TVs or radio knowing that we are having the Bintu Monetary, but the awareness for the bulk of the community, which are youth, to know exactly what is ongoing at the Bintu Money conference.
I think that's another serious issue. When sometimes we listen to our Sierra Leoneans, you know, acting as consultants, you know, communicating to people, they are misinforming the public. It is really sad. It's disheartening. And I think they are taking Sierra Leoneans for granted. But I will tell you, Sierra Leoneans are highly digitalized. Even the ordinary man in the street can now communicate through WhatsApp, can now discuss issues. And I think engaging them is very, very important. For people to just sit within their comfort zone and say they've engaged young people, to say we have already relayed the message to the young people, is really, I would say, disingenuous. We have institutions. Youth Coalition is an household name. And I think we've been there for decades, as I said. When the war came to an end in Sierra Leone, Youth Coalition was part and parcel of the demobilization and reintegration of young people. Youth Coalition was there again to advocate for the establishment of the Youth Commission. We were there again to ensure that certain ministries, you know, are separated for the convenience of youth issues. You look at the youth ministry, it used to be youth and sports, education, youth and sports. During the late President Kaba's period, we came together. We were able to convince his government for separation of these organs. And I think these are some of the things we've been doing. I listened to the chief minister talking about inclusivity, inclusiveness, but yet the program was totally not inclusive. And again, I go down to the point of talking about the sincerity. People were there representing organizations. We were expecting young people, to have been there again to articulate the issues of unemployment. When you listen to the President Bio, at the well of Parliament, he did say that indeed he is aware of unemployment. But the irony is that even though he is aware of this unemployment, he is causing more problem than solving the problems of the young people. Because you are sacking young people to replace them with other young people.
How can we tackle this alleged massive sacking all around the country? It might be from your political affiliation, allegedly that you're supporting the opposition, or by your zoning. This has been the concern. Most young people have been calling, they have been coming around. And not only happening in the capital, it happened nationwide. How can we tackle this entire problem now about this massive sacking?
The president is supposed to be the fountain of honor. He should be the symbol of unity for the country, and not a symbol of division for this country. The current president is dividing the country. I tell you, his political culture right from its inception is very clear that the president is not serious about uniting the people. And when you have a leader that is not uniting its people, it is just clear that his followers will follow suit. But what we are saying here, we are not always just lampooning the government, but we make recommendations. There is room for improvement. With honesty and sincerity, we can make the change. But if we have a situation, just now your news headline was saying that 144 people have been sacked at statistics and they are encouraging them to reapply. I think that's totally nonsensical. What we are expecting is that if you think there are people who are not qualified, they are not competent, go through their resume, go through their CV, look at their database, look at their manuals, and see whether those who can be asked to reapply will be sent on reapplication. Those who are supposed to be there, you leave them there. But what is going on, seemingly, is replacing them with the boys who have been patriotic and loyal to their party, the ruling government, which is sad.
And most times when you heard from people in authority, they will tell you, we are not serving the SLPP or the power, but we are serving the country. How can we put all those words into reality?
We can only do so when the president is honest and sincere about doing it. I tell you, he is the head. I don't blame people around him. Like, we have this stereotype. I don't blame the president. It's the people around him. No, the buck stopped with him. And I think the president knows that he was voted in. The sovereignty is in the hands of the people of this country. They have translated that by voting in for you. And once you come into office, your duty is not for you to serve your cronies or your party members. It's for you to serve the country. And by serving the country, you will encourage investors to come in. If you are partisan and you are thinking too much parochial, you are always just looking at your own party or maybe your region where you came from, you are dividing the country. And it's a recipe for conflict. It's a recipe for chaos. They are quoting the TRC. We were part of the TRC. And the TRC was very clear about all the factors that led us to the rebel war. This country was in a period where nothing was functioning because of war. And we've passed that bridge. We saw what President Kaba did. He tried his best to ensure that democratic institutions were functioning without political interference. The likes of the Human Rights Commission, it's as an advice from the TRC that we got the Human Rights Commission. We have the National Democratic Institution, the NCD, the National Commission for Democracy. We have the PPRC. We have many institutions, NEC. President Koma also came and consolidated the peace, stabilized the situation, encouraged people to work as Sierra Leoneans. And when President Bio came, within a year, we are talking of a Bintimani 3. It means something went wrong.
Molai, let's reflect back. People strongly believe that most things affecting the current administration have been plotted or have been set aside by the administration. Because you talk about the education quality now, the unemployment rate, the then administration left those platforms, and now they are trying to do the fix. They will tell you we have a battered economy, there are challenges in the administration. Institution we are not working. Men we are being strong more than the institution, as Obama rightly said in the past. How can we move away from playing the blame games and work towards national development and empowerment?
Joel once said in his song, which I love so much, we must talk about justice if we are going to have peace. Okay? And I think what's also I saw at the Bintimani 3 was that the chief minister was sending the wrong signals. He, as the marshal of the program, he was talking about what the conference was and what it was not, while other people who were coming to make statements were contradicting what he was saying. It was just in his own wall, telling people that the conference was not about petition. The conference was not about the violence and the beating of members of parliament in the well of parliament, and also the usurpation of the majority by the minority to have a speaker and deputy speaker, totally usurped by the minority party. It was also telling the people that it has nothing to do with the commission of inquiry. And I think, even though that was his own definition of the conference, but many people who delivered their statement there were saying, these are all the factors. You look at the petition. The petition that is ongoing, petitioning members of parliament, I think it was not just one-sided. We saw the opposition also coming up with petitions against the ruling government members of parliament. But what happened? You find out their own cases were swept under the carpet. They were covered. And nobody has brought it up. It has been covered in dust. So what we are saying, how independent is the judiciary to ensure that justice is dispensed equitably, to avoid the tension that we are now talking of, the political tension. So the solution is we need to go back to the drawing board. We need to be honest. If we are not honest and sincere about having, a national cohesion, even if we established a peace commission, it will be like a white elephant. Nothing will come out of it unless the sincerity of purpose is established. First, let's go back to parliament and do justice to the opposition majority. Mind you, we are talking about the mandate of the people. People voted. Okay? And the government is ruling based on the results that was pronounced by NEC. And also parliament is established based on the mandate of the people that voted. And the votes came out to say there is a majority of opposition in parliament, which means we should have a hung parliament where the opposition should have a very strong say. Look at what is happening in England. You saw Theresa May living in tears. So in Sierra Leone, I think we should copy from them because they are the ones who left us this type of political arrangements. Okay?
How can it stand the test of time people believe that members of the opposition and other political party are more into their party activities, supporting their party more than the love they have for country? They'll keep on telling you that they love their political party more than Sierra Leone. So it's a challenge on the side of the people.
I am very critical minded and I read. I don't just follow the bandwagon. I have had this type of saying in social media and many other places. But I want to challenge those who have this perception to go and look at the constitution of Sierra Leone. The very constitution of 1991 is very clear that our parliament will remain partisan. Okay? Because of the 77K in the constitution. Section 77K speaks about how parliamentarians can easily lose their seats in parliament. If the chairman of your party or the leader of your party so decides to write the Speaker of Parliament that you are going to lose your seat, automatically you lose your seat in Parliament. It is in our constitution. So the advice is we continue to review our constitution. Let President Kaba started it. And former President Koma did the same thing. We were part of the Constitutional Review Committee. And I think the document is there. The current government has the power, President Bio, to look into it, whether to go back and do another review or maybe to look at it, whether they would have a white paper or whatever. They need to review the constitution. Since 1991, we are still governing our country with these laws. So we need to review the constitution. Reviewing it will help. In other parts of the world that we are enjoying, watching them on TV, we see how advanced their democracy is. You can be a member of a particular party, but yet your own opinion and what your constituents want you to do in parliament, you will make sure that you articulate it in parliament.
A huge cash was spent in the CRC review, you know, and people tend to ask if they wasted the cash or not. What do we for now as an activist?
As an activist, I think immediately this government needs to go back and put its words into action. Inclusivity is very important. No one region will rule this country. No one tribe will dominate the political dispensation or the distribution of the national economy. It must be, and it's a must, I emphasize, this is a post-conflict country where you must include every facet of society as best as possible for you to enjoy the sanity of your government. And again, just one more thing. The sacking of people which I think are illegal, which are unprocedural, the government needs to go back and ask those who have been fired to come back and to do it the right way. We need to get a situation where, first and foremost, in administrative law, you look at what are the allegations against an employee and try to query the employee. Give him fair chance or her fair chance to reply, to respond to the allegations. You cannot just act ultra-vires and say automatically you are being fired based on ABC.
The other views
without
that
fair
most of them
trial.
are not qualified. Your take on that?
Qualification.
Yeah.
They need to look at it how individuals were recruited. I have no problem with that. I think it's good. You look at also the experience of the individual, the competence. It's also good. But what we are saying, any sentiment attached that has to do with party politics, that has to do with tribalism, that has to do with nepotism, that has to do with ethno-regional sentiment, it's totally against the laws of Sierra Leone, especially the constitution, that oblige the government to keep its people united, to ensure that the people enjoy the national economy. And I think the government has the onus, the ruling government, they have the onus to ensure that this is done because it's in the constitution. It is not something like a favor they are giving out to the people. And another thing again is about the withdrawal. I think it sounds arbitrary, the way they withdraw security from former presidents and former vice presidents. I think it's totally wrong. We have an act on that. The 1986 retiring benefits and pensions of former presidents and vice presidents is very clear that they must enjoy these facilities, and it is at the expense of the states. Everything that they should enjoy is spelled out in this act that they must enjoy.
In a situation where they will tell you after 6 months they need to relieve some and bring another people, and you, the then president or former vice president, will say, "I'm get used to Molai. He's the one most I trust him to secure me." You will not dictate for them. Other school of thought have that opinion.
Yeah, I think the problem there is miscommunication. Where you have bad communication, you will always have situations like this. Mind you, the first casualty of war is communication. I think this government should know that they should not treat former government staffs or former government workers, former government ministers as enemies. Sorry. They've served this country. If there is doubt or whatever, the commission of inquiry is going on. People are watching. Okay? There is public transparency for people to watch how the trials are going on. So what I'm advising the government is there should be that symbiosis between this president and the former president, because they are heightening the tension. Because people are seeing malice. Wherever this president goes, he will make statements that are really very difficult to justify. You are talking about quote-unquote anyampis, thieves. These are not statements that are deserving to a former president who has served this country. I think if you are going to bring them to book, allow the legal process to work.
So they will tell you that
so
it's up to the competent court of law to prove.
Fantastic. So you cannot call someone a criminal when someone has not gone through a competent court of law. Whatever you say would sound so prejudicial. And so what we are saying, the president should have a very good relationship with former president and vice president, and also former staff who have served this country. Commissioners are complaining that even their benefits they've not received because of many political
wrangles.
These are all issues.
They need to be treated fairly and allow the Commission of Inquiry or competent court to find guilty of any corruption allegations and all.
Let's go by our laws. We presume people innocent until they are found guilty. That's what I think the English system says. Let's allow them, to enjoy whatever they have to enjoy. If the court finds them guilty and there is this cost for them to repay whatever they had accrued, I think that's also will be impressive. So that's the situation.
And going for another story. When we come back, we shall be looking at the various documents on youth and how can we give them proper funding, implementation and monitoring as well. Is Molai Conte and the director for Youth Coalition talking here on Youth East, and also this is bothering the outcome of the Bintu Money 3. You're still with the Star Good Morning Show live here on Star TV on Channel 21. Broadcasting live from Media One Center Studios at 3 Mama Street Book Feast in Freetown. And the Good Morning Show is proudly sponsored by Rokel Commercial Bank. Scattered Part 2, the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Food Security has had an engagement session with members of Parliament for the rehabilitation of 142 kilometers of feeder roads in 6 districts as a first phase public disclosure on the 6th and 17th and also the 18th of May. And we now go in for the full report and get the full details about it.
The first opportunity as a member of Parliament for interface with them. It can happen for me say the day we are the interface with them, my constituency, they derive a benefit. So make we get bigger to stand. Today, I don't want to be facing we're there for waste time. We're there for something very important. Because tomorrow, the same way some of we, but then at the call at the God will allow, now make them call this consultative stakeholder meeting for engagement we just for benefits from the road work. We just will be in one way or the other affected. We just will monitor and see this work here and do the way they for doing. So everybody will be very important. And we do one here, not to by any way a mistake. We don't agree from the previous speakers for saying this particular project this time around, they implement with a condition. The condition where the World Bank give, then they follow. And they appeal to with the local authorities, with the local stakeholders.
Of the people of constituency 024 and that of the 28. For letting people be beneficiary to this fund project, where out of the 9 constituencies in Kono, I mean this Chapo man benefit out of it. Thank you. And I think the government of Sierra Leone, led by the president, the retired general, and partner Scattered, when it is Kono district in Yemen, when it is the people of Mali and that of the upper basin, when they selected the government and partners who are taking what I would take you want to get for we. Today, why I say the importance is number 1, the community where they identify from Sabakor to Vam, as the previous speaker said, not with the road of Woge plantations, you go the size. You not have like this man that to maybe now, sorry to say it, in fact, we're in Chaco. But from the road, 5-6 miles, the plantation, Mr. Honorable Member, in fact, they got for benefit out of that project more than you. Because from Sabakor to even beyond, the plantation, not to Chaco.
As a ministry, I take this opportunity for this short statement on behalf of the Boston Free. As a ministry, we very, very gladly wait these projects don't come to this level. Because the project don't start from 2017, when they come small, we don't identify roads. Now we don't come to this point, who says they can't disclose this project for people as far as the road issue is concerned. Before they go to the road issue, as a ministry, we're not able to do, or as a government, we're not able to do everything. So governments usually ask assistance from partners, development partners, for help for develop the country. And the Ministry of Agriculture will help for do this, and that make these projects go SCADEP come into being. And that make the Ministry of Agriculture the supervisory body for this project.
Welcome back. You're still with the Star Good Morning Show, coming to you live on the Star TV on Channel 21. We'll go in for our final story, and we'll come back to Molai and continue the rest of the discussion here. And now we go in for sports. The High Court in Freetown has acquitted on the charge the President and the Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Football Association, Madam Aisha Juansi and Christopher Abdul Kamara, on corruption charges. Elton John has more, and our files in this report.
The Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC, has suffered legal defeat at the High Court as Madam Aisha Yuansin, the President of the Football Association of Sierra Leone, and Secretary General Christopher Kamara were both acquitted and discharged with no cost by Honorable Justice Reginald Finn, Jr. on Monday, 27 May 2019, on all three count charges of the corruption charges leveled against them by the ACC. Both defendants, Madam Aisha Yuansin and Christopher Kamara, went into tears of joy as members from the gallery cast out spell of silence, which had engulfed the court's room, clamoring in ecstasy to the pronouncement of Justice Finn Jr. According to the judge, I therefore acquit and discharge the accused persons on all three count charges. The judge held the court spellbound for almost 2 hours in delivering his 18-page judgments. The matter commenced at the High Court before presiding judge in 2017 with an indictment of 11 count charges of corruption allegations filed by the ACC on amendment application by the then Commissioner of the Anti-Corruption, Ade Macaulay. As the trial proceeded, charges were reduced to 3 counts on both misappropriation of funds and conspiracy to commit corruption offences. The indictment, according to the ACC prosecutor Kelvin Matsimbo, who took over the case on charges the defendants with the following offences of misappropriation of donor funds contrary to Section 37(1), conspiracy to commit corruption offences contrary to Section 128(1), misappropriation of public funds contrary to Section 32(1), and abuse of office contrary to Section 42(1), all of the Anti-Corruption Act of 2008. Justice Finn said the prosecution case is that while both defendants were serving as President and Secretary General of the Football Association, received a sum of $50,000 from the Confederation of African Football (CAF) for a specific purpose of covering costs relating to the Sierra Leone under-17 team taking a MRI test in Niger, which never happened, said to have been deposited to the Football Association bank account at EcoBank, where both defendants stand as principal signatories. Although alleged an amount of $24,750,000 was paid to the spouse of the first defendant of the Football Association, Aisha Yuansin, funds held in an account to which both defendants and signatories that the second defendant did receive without authority the sum of $5,500 from public funds purported as compensation for the sum of his personal laptop in carrying out the SLFA function. Both defendants were represented throughout the process by lawyer A. Sori-Sisi, lawyer Brian Makoroma, and Mans Conte, SQ. Lead counsel A. Sori appreciated the judgment as delivered by the courts, while the prosecuting sides are bent of comprehensive pursuit of the file for further action, if any. The jubilation sped out the courtroom with the songs of praises on the judiciary. In the manner it was conducted, the trial, which has been topical in the sporting industry.
Sitting judge with Josephine Jr. Reporting on the High Court of Sierra Leone and Hilton Judge. We go tell and take it, but we do for we. We go tell and take it, tell Papa God take it. This is the High Court of Sierra Leone. Aisha Yuantin case available in the according to the presiding judge, who is Josephine Jr., acquitted Aisha Yuantin that, according to the case presented by the Anti-Corruption Commission, there is no case of submission. So in other words, Aisha Yuantin, she is back again as the president of the Football Association and also the Secretary General, Christopher Kamala, after the presiding judge, with Josephine Jr., gave a no case submission and a ruling in favor of Aisha Yuantin. So in other words, Aisha Yuantin back as the president of the Football Association. Reporting on court, you can see on the background.
For Star Sport in Freetown, I am Hilton John reporting.
Many thanks to Hilton John for that report, and we look forward to sanity in the football sector because the league is ongoing now. We're just appealing to Madam Aisha Yuantin and Christopher Abdul Kamara to be calm and move on positively to promote the game of football, which young people are benefiting a huge amount, and a lot of opportunities are still incoming. And we continue discussion to Mola. Mola, there are a lot of documents relating to youth. I can keep on telling you, we are not constrained with documentation again. Really, it all started in 2003 when we had the first national youth policy. Blessed memory from Dr. Alhaji Ahmad Tijan Kaba. 2004, we have the TRC that also recommended for the Commission. 2006, African Youth Charter. In 2009, we have the National Youth Commission. 2013, we have the first separated Ministry of Youth Affairs. 2014, the revised National Youth Policy. 2016, the National Youth Service. And all those documents are there. You know, international and local. Our challenge has been the proper funding to youth, like the Youth Empowerment Fund, depoliticize youth issues, have it on the national face, proper monitoring and all. Let's discuss further. What will be your recommendation as we are closing?
I think you've spoken from a point of well-informed journalist, and I listened to how you outlined the documents. You clearly state to the public that you are part and parcel of it. We are all there. These documents are all there. What we are looking forward to is implementation, and also to depoliticize the implementation process. Because in most cases, the lacuna is that government will want to take advantage of these recommendations in these documents, you know, to give jobs to the boys, you know, to say these are our loyal boys, you know, they were there for us. But I'm telling this government that immediately you do such thing, you are only inviting more problem for your economy. Because mind you, the young people, if I can still recall what Kofi Annan once said, the late Kofi Annan of blessed memory, that the young people are the fountain and foundation of any state's economy. And any attempt, you know, to go contrary to their aspirations will be doomed for the state economy. So it means you cannot, you know, politicize youth issues. In doing that, you are fanning violence, you are fanning conflict, you are fanning more and more problem for your very administration. So you need to include them, as I think the Binti Man is rhetoric was inclusivity. Include them. You need to be very sincere, match words with actions. And I think the young people will be so disenchanted if they find out that when it comes to, you know, empowering them, capacitating them, they are being segregated along tribes, along regional or ethno-regional dimensions, or based on their party, the red, the green, the political colorization. If that's the case, I will tell you President Bio will not succeed in helping young people. I always give reference to the late President Kaba. When he started the youth empowerment scheme, he did not look at color. He did not look at where you are coming from. In fact, your own domestic area, wherever you are staying, is in fact an advantage for you to implement your process there. They will not, import any other person from another part to come and implement a youth policy.
That was the time we saw you people in the TVET sector from the
Yes.
carpentry, glass,
Yes.
and
Yes.
even also the guy. But as a way of closing, your word of advice to the government and the young people themselves.
I want to speak to this government to be very honest and sincere about how they treat youth issues. Gone are the days when young people will be taken from the ghetto and dressed in different clothing, all for them to sing the pie they do well, the party do well. Don't trivialize youth issues. Youth issues are very, very paramount to the success of any political economy. Any attempt to trivialize it will be detrimental to the very state itself. And I also want to speak to President Bio. I hope he is listening. That he must depoliticize our democratic institutions. Starting from the PPRC, then the organization that will be conducting elections, that has the mandate to do that, NEC, the police force, the military, all these institutions are democratic institutions established with a mandate. Any attempt to politicize them will only undermine the hard-won peace that we shed our blood, our tears, and people times we are amputated for.
So pick on your message to the youth as we're going.
So the young people, do not behave again like the youths in the 70s or the 60s. We are now digitalized young people living in 21st century. Don't allow politicians to misuse and dump you. Speak truth to power. Tell them what you want. Don't allow them to use you with alcohol and cheap commodities for their own personal aggrandizement. Tell them in their faces, go and bring your brother or sister to do the odd job which you want me to do. If you want to send me to lynch somebody or to burn a particular building, call your relatives. Tell the politician, call your relatives to do it. Tell them you will no longer be used. You are now a conscious youth. Don't allow politicians to abuse and use you again.
It's a pleasure having you. Thank you so much, Mola. We'll keep you in touch.
Thank you.
He's Mola Conte, Executive Director for Youth Coalition and also a civil rights activist, talking to us on the Bintu 183 outcome and youth-related issues. That's all we can take for today on this edition of the Star Good Morning Show, live here on Star TV on Channel 21. So meet again some other time. I have been your presenter, Mohamed Basiru Sanusi, and keep watching this favorite station. That's the power of communication.